When summer came and the roses, Berg's national flower, and the pride of the Arvis estate were in full bloom, the Duke returned home. The mansion stirred with energy. Servants worked harder than ever, preparing to receive the many guests who came to see the Duke. They also made arrangements for various parties and gatherings, for their labor was a reflection of their master's dignity. Among the guests were members of the House of Brandt, one of the most prestigious noble families in Berg, second only to the Herharts. These guests demanded special attention from the staff. During one welcome, a guest greeted warmly, "It's been a long time, Duke, Lady Herhart." The official reason for the Brandts' visit was to spend the summer with their relatives, but everyone knew the truth. Count Brandt's only daughter, Lady Claudine, would never visit Arvis for that reason alone. Lady Claudine arrived and offered a poised, "Good day, Duke." "Welcome, Lady Claudine," the Duke replied with formal courtesy. This meeting marked the beginning of negotiations between the two families. It was meant to help the young couple become better acquainted before announcing their engagement. The purpose of the meeting was clear, and no one tried to hide it, least of all Claudine. "This greenhouse is always beautiful," Lady Herhart remarked. "You've managed to move heaven here, Lady Herhart," the Duke replied. "I've tended to this place for a long time," she said. "I look forward to passing it on to someone who understands its value." Lady Herhart turned to the Duke. "Duke, please show Claudine around the heaven of Arvis. We still have matters to discuss." The Duke offered his hand to Claudine. "Come with me." Claudine smiled softly. "Of course, Duke." The little girl Claudine once was had vanished. Now, she was the picture of a perfect young lady. The Duke escorted her with all the formality expected when greeting a lady of noble birth. Though they had never been close, they had known each other for years. Two aristocrats, raised with the same expectations and standards, that familiarity, and their shared status, was the clearest reason for their arranged marriage. "These birds are so lovely," Claudine said as they entered the greenhouse. "They seem to take so well to people. What's your secret?" "We clip their wings, my lady," the gardener replied. "Their wings? Doesn't that hurt them?" she asked. "We only clip the feathers, so it causes no pain. Would you like to see?" Claudine glanced at the Duke. "Would that be all right?" "As you wish, my lady," he said. The Duke turned to the gardener. "What kind of bird is that?" "It's a canary, Your Grace. Canaries sing beautifully. This one is still guarded. It hasn't had much contact with people, but once its wing feathers are clipped, it won't be able to fly far. It will grow milder in time." Claudine frowned slightly. "But is it necessary to clip them? Birds that can fly freely are rarely tamed by humans, and yet, perhaps it's for the best. It keeps them from flying into danger or getting lost or hurt." The Duke caught the bird himself. The gardener said, "Oh dear, it won't be tamed right away. It takes time. Would you like to try and tame this one, my lady?" "I'm happy just watching them," Claudine said with a faint smile. "Thank you for indulging me." She turned to the Duke. "Shall we go back to our table?" The Duke handed the bird to the gardener. "Take it to my room." The gardener blinked. "I beg your pardon. That bird is mine now, my canary," the Duke said simply. Later that day, a servant called out, "Thanks, Layla. That must have been heavy." Layla replied, "Not at all. Is someone visiting the mansion?" "Yes. Count Brandt and his family are arriving soon." "Oh, Lady Claudine must be with them then," Layla said. "She always visits when the Duke is home." "I heard they're going to be engaged." "Really?" Layla was surprised. "Yes. I always wondered what sort of lady would be a fitting bride for our Duke. I guess all those visits to the manor with the Countess finally paid off." Layla thought to herself, "So that's why everything feels so tense, even though the Duke has returned. Such an important event is about to take place. I should finish my chores before the Duke heads to the forest and Lady Claudine comes calling for me." The guest house was ready. "Everything you need has been prepared," a steward said. "There's a board meeting this afternoon. I'll have the car waiting by noon." The guest house overlooked the river Schulter and the Arvis forest. The view was breathtaking. The porthouse had been converted for guests long ago, but the Duke's grandmother and mother rarely made the trek to the riverbank. To him, it was a world of his own. Whenever his schedule allowed, he would come here to gaze at the trees or the water. When those things bored him, he would take a nap. it was a place where he always felt at peace. There was nothing he loved more than surrendering himself to the rhythm of the river, the rustling of the leaves, the flashes of sky through the trees, the birdsong on the breeze. The noise and talk of the past few days of engagements and duty seemed to dissolve into the rushing water. As expected, negotiations between the House of Herhart and House Brandt went smoothly. The Duke and Claudine would be engaged for 1 year, with a formal announcement by the end of summer. Now that he had fulfilled his obligations as a duke, there was little need for him to remain in military service much longer. After another year or two with the Guards, he would be discharged, marry, and focus on the family estate. Just as he had done until now, his life would flow on like a gently rolling river, just as he wished. Layla sat perched in the tree, reading a crinkled newspaper. The breeze picked up flutter, and a loose page drifted from her fingers, sailing gracefully through the air until it landed with perfect accuracy on someone's face. Blinking, Layla squinted down through the branches. "What is that?" she murmured. "Is that a person? A man? Wait, could that naked man be? Oh my God, it is the Duke." She froze, stunned. What on earth is he doing over there? And in such an indecent state? No, don't look. Close your eyes. Just carry on with what you were doing, she hissed to herself, her heart racing. But then he started walking toward her. "No, don't come this way. Don't come over here, please." In a burst of panic, Layla scrambled down from the tree and bolted. Kyle spotted her rushing toward him. "Oh, Layla, I was just coming to find you. Uncle said you were out picking raspberries. Are you okay? Why are you running? Did something happen in the woods? Did you run into a wild animal or something?" She gasped, still breathless. Maybe a wild animal would have been better. Kyle looked alarmed. "Layla, seriously, what got into you? Was it a ghost?" "No," she said, staring wide-eyed. "Something far scarier. You were supposed to be picking raspberries." "Oh, that's right. My raspberries. I don't know what's going on. But let's go get them together." "No, why not? I don't want to." Later, at the eye store, "Well," the optician asked, "how is it? Much clearer, isn't it?" Layla blinked as she looked around, eyes wide. "It's as if I'm seeing the world for the first time." "Understandable," the optician said kindly. "Your eyesight wasn't great. That must have been frustrating. Honestly, apart from not being able to read properly, it's been fine. Then try these." He handed her a card with tiny letters. "How are these?" She smiled. "Yes, they're clear. Finally, I've got myself some glasses, and I paid for them myself." As she stepped out of the store, she whispered, "Thank you, raspberries. I'd better thank myself too for stringing jam over the fire in the heat. Come again soon." The shopkeeper called cheerfully, but even on a beautiful day, her mind wouldn't let her rest. "Why do I keep remembering that awful moment? Thank goodness I have my glasses now." But what on earth was the Duke thinking? Just because he owns the estate, does he really need to bathe in the river in broad daylight? What if someone had seen? She sighed. "I guess I'll have to avoid the river until he's gone. I won't go near that place again. I'll make sure we never cross paths." "Layla?" That voice. It was familiar. She turned and froze. Surely not. Lady Claudine? There she stood with the Duke. "Long time no see, Layla?" Lady Claudine said sweetly. "Oh, hello, Layla replied, keeping her tone polite. "You're becoming quite the proper young lady. I almost didn't recognize you with your glasses. How have you been?" "I've been well, my lady. We were just heading to the hotel over there for tea." "Come with us, Layla." "I beg your pardon? It's been such a long time. It would be lovely to have a cup of tea with you. Would that be all right, Duke?" Layla hesitated. "I'm supposed to meet Kyle in town, but I guess I still have some time." She nodded slowly. "Why does Lady Claudine want me there? It's not like she's ever had much to say to me. Since I was 12, they've treated me like I was invisible. Maybe I should stop wondering why. Just accept the status quo." But now, with her new glasses, she could see everything, including the Duke, seated directly across from her. "Those eyes, when I was younger, I foolishly thought that if I looked into his glassy blue eyes, I'd hear a crystal clear, singing sound. But now, all I feel is discomfort, unease." I can't believe I'm sitting face to face with him again. Just when I was sure I'd never see him like that again. Why does it feel like I'm the only one who's bothered? He's completely unaffected, but of course, to the aristocracy, a servant is no more than furniture. From that perspective, it makes sense. Who would be embarrassed about being naked in front of a chair? And why would a chair be embarrassed to see it? She clenched her hands on her lap. From now on, I'm furniture, a chair, without thoughts or feelings. Lady Claudine sipped her tea. Oh, Layla, how is school? Is it fun? Yes, my lady. I suppose you'll be graduating next year. What are your plans? I'm preparing to become a teacher. Oh, how wonderful. That suits you very well, doesn't it, Duke? Yes, the Duke replied, his expression unreadable. Lady Claudine smiled. Oh, for the upcoming party? Why don't we invite that young lady as well? I beg your pardon? Layla said, startled. Your Grace, my lady, she said quickly, standing. May I be excused? I promised to meet a friend, it's nearly time. Oh, of course. It was good to see you today, Layla. If you'll excuse me, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Kyle grinned as she arrived. So you scoured the woods, picked raspberries, made jam, and sold it. And now, you've bought your own glasses. You're amazing, Miss Layla. Don't tease me, she said, blushing. And why do you keep smiling like that? Do I look strange in these? I think they're cute. But look, if I push them up like this your eyes get as small as a mouse's. Layla laughed and punched him on the arm. Cut it out. All right. You're just like Uncle Bill when you're mad. Come on. Let's eat. I played tennis earlier. I'm starving. Meanwhile, in a carriage caught in traffic, Lady Claudine leaned forward. Driver, what's the hold up? A carriage ahead. My lady blocking the road. The Duke, looking through the window, suddenly stilled. Across the street, he saw her, Layla, with that boy, Kyle. So, the friend she went to meet. It's that boy, Kyle, the family doctor's son. He remembered her at the tea shop, sitting upright, silent, tense. She didn't even touch her tea. She sat there with her hands folded like a statue. Then she left. Without a word. Left me. She left me to go see that boy. Because she wanted to. She left me. Claudine's mother caught sight of Layla and narrowed her eyes. That girl. Could she be the one from before? The orphan who used to scrounge around with the groundskeeper. To think she's still living here. Yes, mother, Claudine replied calmly. That's her. She's pretty. Isn't she? Seems to grow more beautiful by the day. Her mother frowned. And that doesn't bother you? How can you be so unfazed? Claudine had always known Layla was a pretty girl. But seeing her now after all these years, Layla had far exceeded her expectations. She had a petite frame, typical of women from Lovita, with delicate features, mysterious green eyes, and clear, fair skin. It was that sudden realization that prompted Claudine to invite her. We're just on our way to have some tea at the hotel over there, she said to Layla. Come with us. It's been a while, and it would be lovely to catch up. But in truth, Claudine was curious. How would Duke Matthias von Herhart react to the young woman who had grown into a beauty right under his nose? Would that be all right, Your Grace? She asked, already predicting his response. And he did not disappoint, responding with the perfect balance of polite interest and restrained dignity. Later, Claudine said quietly to her mother, I know what you're worried about, but I don't want to dwell on that sort of thing. That's because you're still too young to know what men are really like, her mother said sharply. If I were you, Claudine, I'd eliminate every beautiful woman who so much as looked at the Duke. Claudine only smiled. As you said, I'm still young, and I may not yet understand men, but I do know one thing: men of high status often have a mistress or two. Perhaps something like that will happen again. It wouldn't be anything new. The Duke may be swept away by his lust, like my father, like so many men. But as long as he keeps a mistress as a mistress and nothing more, he's harmless. Her voice lowered, more serious now. What's dangerous is a man who doesn't know how to draw that line. But Matthias von Herhart isn't that kind of man. He's the head of his house. He won't renounce his position over something fleeting. She paused, eyes still on Layla. I hope it never comes to that, Claudine added. But if the Duke were to take a mistress, I'd rather it be someone like her. She's not the type to threaten my standing, and I believe I could keep her well within my grasp. Claudine, her mother gasped. How can you say such things? That's terrible. Claudine shrugged. My mother, she thought, had always been fragile, a weak constitution, multiple miscarriages before I was finally born. No wonder she lived in fear that father would stop loving her, that some young, beautiful woman would give him a son and steal his affections away. I did pity her, Claudine thought, but I was also so tired of her constant trembling. Even if Matthias did become interested in that beautiful, low-born girl, what would it matter? She could only ever be a mistress, nothing more. But her mother raised her voice. You don't understand, child. You know nothing of love or how reckless it can make a person. Love? Claudine scoffed. I remember watching you cry every night over the man you loved. That's exactly why I vowed I would never live like you, mother. I don't want a love that fades and leaves me discarded. I want a perfect marriage, one that allows me to keep my dignity and my place. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the estate, Layla, Kyle called out, but no one responded. She must have gone to help Uncle Bill. They'll be back soon, he thought, settling in to wait. The future Mrs. Ettman, he laughed softly to himself, was even pretty with her glasses on. A little later, Layla appeared. Kyle, since you bought the sandwiches, I'll buy you dessert. It's fine. No need to keep score, he replied with a smile. Kyle thought to himself, whenever I go to meet Layla, I leave my bike at home, just so I can ride with her. I wouldn't mind if she held on tighter. You know, Kyle, I am still buying you some ice cream. Kyle tried to keep his resolve. I shouldn't rush this. I'll wait for the right moment. But every time he was near her, it was so hard to hold back. Just her fingertips can make my heart race. My whole body feels warm, and sometimes, I even have dreams, ones I feel guilty about when I wake up. But worst of all is the fear. Layla, he whispered. What if someone else takes you? Layla pointed up. The clouds are so pretty today, don't you think? Kyle nodded. Yeah, they are. But all he could think about was her slipping away from him. Wouldn't it be better if I just told her how I feel? Just then, Layla turned to him. Kyle, hey, what's up with that tacky hat? He said, grinning. Hello, Uncle Bill. Wow, I thought a giant flower vase was walking toward me. My stomach hurts from laughing. You didn't really buy that thing, did you? Did you pick it up off the street somewhere? Layla frowned. I didn't just find it. Uncle Bill bought it for me as a gift. Kyle blinked, then smiled sheepishly. Wow, now that I look at it up close, it's actually gorgeous. Great taste, Uncle Bill. Here, eat up, Layla said, handing Kyle the food. Thank you for the meal, he replied, offering a faint smile. At least, she's still willing to feed me. After a moment, he asked carefully, are you still angry with me? Yes, Kyle sighed. I'm sorry. If I had known, I never would have said that. But why did Uncle Bill buy you a hat? Layla looked down. I asked him to. Kyle blinked. You did? But you've never asked him for anything like that before. She hesitated. Well, Uncle Bill was upset when he found out I bought those expensive glasses without telling him. He said, if your eyesight was poor, why didn't you tell me first? He looked so sad. I've never seen him like that before. I told him, no, Uncle Bill. It's not that I can't depend on you. It's just, he's done so much for me over the years. I wanted to do something myself for once. She paused, fingers brushing the brim of the hat. Things were awkward between us after that. I thought and thought, then I asked him to buy me a really, really pretty hat. He picked this one out himself, even though someone made fun of it for being tacky. Kyle looked at her, guilt creeping in. You should have told me. Now, I feel bad for teasing you. I had no idea it meant so much. Layla nodded, voice soft. To Uncle Bill, flowers are the most beautiful things in the world. So to him, a hat with lots of flowers, that's the most beautiful kind there is. I can just picture him, gruff old Uncle Bill, walking into a women's clothing store all alone to buy this for me. I know how much love that took. So to me, this is the prettiest, most lovable hat in the whole world. Please don't make fun of it anymore, okay? Just then, Uncle Bill appeared, arms crossed. You parasite, still hanging around, he growled, but his eyes were soft. Kyle chuckled awkwardly. Layla just smiled. The man who wants Layla, Uncle Bill muttered, will have to come to terms with being second in her heart. Then he turned to Layla. I'm heading into town for a bit. Okay, Uncle Bill. Kyle watched him go, feeling that familiar pang. I know, it's only natural, but I'm jealous. She hasn't looked at me even once. Layla, flipping through a book, furrowed her brow. Who's the culprit? She murmured. I really shouldn't have lent her that mystery novel, Kyle thought. She has no idea how pretty she looks when she's reading, or how adorable she is when she's nibbling on a biscuit. He was about to speak when someone approached from the path. It was the Duke. Kyle stood quickly. Good day, Your Grace. Where is Mr. Remmer? The Duke asked. Layla stepped forward. He went into town for a bit. Is something the matter? The Duke's eyes flicked to her. Miss Layla, I'm sure you're capable of fetching some roses. Would you like me to bring them from the garden? Yes. Pick a bunch and bring them to the guest house. Kyle stepped closer. Let me help you. I'll come with you. It's fine, Layla said. It's really nothing. Then, should I wait here? She looked at him gently. You should go home, Kyle. If Mrs. Ettman finds out you're hanging around again, she's going to be furious. You'll get me into trouble too. Why don't you study? That way, you'll stay out of trouble for both our sakes. Kyle frowned, glancing toward the Duke. It's strange. Why would he come all the way here just to ask for some roses? Was he just passing by? Nothing wrong with that, right? But Layla was frowning too. Still, why do I feel like something's off? She thought. This is the Duke, the man of noble blood, soon to be engaged. I'm probably just being sensitive. Too anxious lately. She made her way to the farmhouse and found him in the guest house. Your Grace, I brought the flowers you requested. The Duke glanced over. Do it again. She blinked. I beg your pardon? In less loud colors. Again. Layla said. Yes, Your Grace. She stepped outside, her thoughts swirling. Go pick some again in less loud colors, she mocked to herself. So you're not happy with the roses I picked? If you're going to be that fussy, why didn't you just tell me what colors you wanted in the first place? I may not know all the ins and outs of this estate, but even I know the guest house isn't just any space. It's private, a place where only select visitors come and go, and only a few servants are allowed in. For the Duke to ask me to bring flowers here, they must be for Lady Claudine, his soon-to-be fiancée. That's why I picked the brightest colors, something bold to match her taste. And look where that got me. If there's one thing I'm certain of, it's that everyone's idea of the Duke is completely wrong. Someone who makes others suffer under the blazing sun can't possibly be a good person. I don't care what anyone says, I really hate the Duke. I'm going to give him the evil eye before I go in. Mister, her heart said, thank you for your hard work, Layla. Layla replied, oh hello. Are you leaving? He said. We need to return to the mansion. Take it easy. Wait a second, Layla thought. That means the Duke is alone in the guest house right now? Her heart started to pound for no reason. Is he asleep? He looks defenseless, relaxed. He seems like a different person. I've only ever seen him fully dressed and composed, but like this. What do I do? Do I wait until he wakes up, or just leave the roses here? She said. I brought some fresh roses, Your Grace. Will I need to go and pick them again? The Duke replied. If I said yes, would you? Layla said. If I made a mistake, I suppose I should, but this time, please tell me what colors you'd like. Oh no, the heat must be getting to my head. I just blurted that out, she thought. Flustered. The Duke said, these will do. Sit. Maybe I picked the right colors this time, she thought. Hesitating, she said, thank you, but no, Your Grace, if you're satisfied, I'll get going. He said, is it not also your job to place the flowers into a vase? She replied, but I'm not very good at flower arranging, he said. Then should I do it? The only people in the guest house right now are me and the Duke, she realized. Just the two of us, which means, this is something I have to do even if I'm not good at it. The Duke thought, when I look at her, I think of the canary in my room, my golden bird. It struggled at first, quiet and guarded, but as time passed, it slowly let down its guard, and grew attached to me. Now, it perches on my hand, sings as if telling me a sweet story, and you, Layla, what will you be? Layla muttered. Oh no, there's no water in here, she said. It's done. Your Grace. I hope it's to your liking. The Duke thought she wasn't lying. It's dreadful. Layla said, I apologize. I'll bring a maid who's better at this sort of thing. The Duke muttered, shit. Layla blinked. I beg your pardon? He said, sit, Layla, have some. There it is again, that perplexed look, he thought. Is she unhappy with her payment? She used to enjoy her food. She smiled like sunshine. If that's what she wants, then I'll give her whatever makes her smile. Even if her work was poor, she did what was asked. Layla said, thank you, Your Grace, but I'm all right. Unless there's more to do, I'll take my leave. He said, if that's truly what you want, do you think I'm asking? He's not, Layla thought. He doesn't care what I want. If I refuse again, it might get worse. Best to eat quickly and leave. But I'm full. I had lunch and snacks. I've been running back and forth in the heat. I can't eat anything else. Is this supposed to be a reward or a punishment for the awful flower arrangement? And why does he keep staring at me like that? The Duke thought, she hasn't changed. Even as a child, she would look down, flee when she saw me, like she had seen something she shouldn't. It was irritating. He said, Layla, you're a lady. You should take your hat off indoors. I can bear everything else his mocking. The orders, the power games, she thought. But I won't let him mock the gift Uncle Bill gave me. She said, I'm going to head home now. So please, give me back my hat, Your Grace. He said, then eat, take the hat, and leave. Simple enough. She said, no, I don't want to. I can't eat anymore. Please. Give me back my hat. He said. You don't want to, she said. I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Just give it back. He threw the hat. Layla rushed to retrieve it. What do I do? I can't reach it from here. I need to get it before it floats farther away. I have to do something. Her thoughts raced. If you want to stay in this house, you have to go through the initiation. I'm scared, so scared. Uncle Bill had once said, well, I never knew there were so many hats in the world. I got it from Lynn's. You can exchange it if you don't like it. She asked, did you pick it out yourself? She remembered saying, Uncle Bill, it's almost too pretty to wear. And he said, you like it then? Layla said, of course I do. How do I look? Does it suit me? Bill replied, yes, it looks great on you. Don't tell me she's really planning on going into the river to retrieve that hat? The water is shallow near the building, but just a few feet out, and she won't be able to touch the bottom. She stepped forward, carefully wading through the water. There, I got it, she called, triumphantly lifting the hat. Then, suddenly panic, her footing slipped. She gasped. The current pulled her off balance. She was drowning. The Duke, without a word, rushed into the water and dragged her out. Unbelievable, he thought. She's still desperately clutching that hat even after nearly drowning. It's only a hat. Layla thought, how could he do something like this? How could he laugh? He's the one to blame for all this. The ornaments are soaked. I don't care if he gets wet. He already is. Duke said, are you enjoying yourself? This is starting to become less fun for me. Layla snapped. Why are you doing this to me? He replied, Layla, you should be thanking me first for saving your life. Layla said, what did you just say? I believe none of this would have happened if you, Your Grace, hadn't thrown my hat into the river. The Duke said coldly, no, none of this would have happened if you'd quietly eaten your sandwich and left, or if you hadn't been foolish enough to jump in the water when you can't even swim. I feel like my anger is about to explode, Layla thought, but I have to hold it in for Uncle Bill. I mustn't put him in a difficult position. She lowered her gaze. Thank you for saving me, Your Grace. He smirked. Thank me again, like a lady, she said, voice steady. Beg your pardon, Your Grace, but I am not a lady like those noblewomen. He replied, even so, you should be one in front of me. Whatever you may be, I am a gentleman, after all. Layla said again, more quietly, thank you for saving me, Your Grace. I'll be going now, goodbye. She turned and ran. I'm not going to fall today, she thought, and I'm not going to let him treat me like a plaything anymore. And I won't cry. No matter what, I won't cry over someone like that. After breaking free from the hold of those blue eyes as cold as the river, Layla ran, just like she had when she was a child, clutching the now heavy, waterlogged hat, with eyes so red not even its shadow could hide them. Angry and humiliated, she ran harder. She remembered a moment from long ago. She'd stumbled across him walking with Lady Claudine. He looked like a storybook prince beside her. When the wind blew Claudine's hat away, he had calmly retrieved it and placed it back on her head. Layla had thought the gesture beautiful then, and now, he had used that same gesture to humiliate her, as if it meant nothing. Even now, standing before him, she always felt like the same small, insignificant girl. Somehow, that truth hurt more than it ever had. Seriously? Thank me again like a lady? She fumed. Saving my life? To hold back her frustration, she kicked a piece of fruit by the road as hard as she could. It bounced and rolled away. She blinked hard, trying to clear her vision. Then she froze. Wait, my glasses. She looked back down the long path she'd just run. I left them at the guest house. That evening, as the summer air turned still, the Duke sat alone. The breeze from the open guest house windows had cooled. Her eyesight must be quite poor, he thought. That's why she always frowns like that. He remembered a girl who had once peered up at him with a sulky expression, plain, maybe, but with unusually bright green eyes. He twirled her glasses in his hands, not even fully realizing he'd taken them. The child who was only supposed to stay in Arvis a short while, grew up here. A young woman now, she smelled faintly of roses, the same kind that bloomed in his summer gardens. Layla, he murmured. The name felt too warm in his mouth, irritatingly so. He slipped the glasses into a drawer and let the memory of those eyes vanish with them. After a long shower, he dressed impeccably for dinner. By the time he left the guest house, he had become the Duke once more, unmoved and immaculate. It was an uneventful midsummer's evening. Later, back at home, Bill said, "Must have been a crow again. They love anything shiny. Remember your hairpin?" Layla smiled faintly. "Of course. You gave it to me on my 13th birthday. I saved it for a special occasion, and the first time I wore it, a crow stole it." Bill chuckled. "I remember. You searched every crow's nest in the forest." Layla said, "If something like that happens again, no matter how much I love birds, I might end up hating crows." They clinked their teacups together. Bill said gently, "Don't worry, we'll get you a new pair of glasses if we can't find them. Just promise me something. Layla, don't try to shoulder everything alone." She nodded. "Yes, Uncle Bill." "I can't tell him the Duke threw the hat into the river," she thought. "That would only worry him. I'm sure my glasses are still where I left them. I'll just go back and find them in the early morning, quietly." At dawn the next day, Layla searched the guest house. "They're not here." "Why? I definitely left them on top of my handkerchief, but the handkerchief is gone too. It must have blown away." "Could the Duke have moved them?" "No, that makes no sense. Why would he take my glasses?" She heard a flutter overhead. "A crow." "You again?" she asked. "Did you take them? Where are you going? Where do you even live?" She watched the bird soar off into the distance. There are only two suspects now, the crow or the Duke. Kyle said, "Hi, Phoebe." The mountain pigeon on his arm fluffed its feathers proudly. Occupation delivered Layla's letter as usual. This was her second year on the job, a position she'd earned through sheer determination. An interesting thing about Occupation was that she wasn't afraid of people, quite the opposite. In fact, "Thanks again," Kyle said as he took the envelope. "No treat for me?" Phoebe, the Montaigne pigeon, barked playfully. Kyle chuckled and offered a small reward to Occupation. Then he frowned, glancing at the envelope. "We're supposed to meet at the library today. Why send a letter? Maybe she's running late." He tore it open. "Kyle, I've lost my glasses. I won't be able to go to the library today. I need to look for them." "I'm so sorry." Kyle was stunned. Layla had worked so hard to save up for those glasses. How could she lose them? As he put on his coat, his mother called from the kitchen. "Kyle, where are you going? You should be studying." "I'm heading to the library," he replied casually. She narrowed her eyes. "You're not meeting Layla again, are you?" "She'll be there too. See you later." "Layla, Layla, Layla. Every day. How long are you going to waste time on that girl?" This is an important year for you. Ignoring her, Kyle walked straight to Layla's place. How on earth did you lose your glasses? He asked the moment she opened the door. Have you found them yet? No, not yet, she said, clearly frustrated. I'll buy you a new pair, Layla. Let's go into town tomorrow. You? Why would you, Kyle? Kyle cursed himself silently. Oh no, my emotions got the better of me. I forgot what Layla's like for a moment. Thanks for the offer, she said gently, but I can't accept that. I really want to find my glasses. He looked at her, recognizing the fierce determination in her eyes. I've known her since she was small. That look, it means she won't back down, no matter what anyone says. She's stubborn and unstoppable. She headed off to the crow's nest. Anything there? Kyle asked. Layla scanned the area. Doesn't look like it. Suddenly, a crow swooped down from above. Okay, I'm leaving. Layla called up to it, then resumed searching from one tree to the next. Kyle admired her tenacity. You should probably go home, Layla said after a while. Thanks for coming, but I'll be fine on my own. No, let's keep looking together, he insisted, thinking, even if I tried to talk her out of it, she wouldn't listen. I can't let her wander alone, it's dangerous. And honestly, it's kind of funny to watch her like this. Meanwhile, the Duke's car passed by. His father, in the front seat, asked, "What are those kids up to now?" The driver replied, "I heard a crow took Layla's glasses. They've been searching the nests." Gossip had already begun to spread among the servants. In the back seat, the Duke leaned back, thoughtful. She must know. She left the glasses on the dock herself, but she's searching crow nests. Does she really not know, or does she not want to know? Back in the woods, Layla felt uneasy under the Duke's distant gaze. Why was he looking at me like that? I feel like something bad's going to happen. I need to be sure. I have to narrow this down. It's either the crow, or the Duke. She and Kyle spent several more days combing through the forest. Her relentless effort was so intense that even the Duke, who found it amusing at first, eventually grew weary of their antics. He had been forced to visit the guest house multiple times during this spectacle. One morning, his assistant approached. "Marquis Lindman is expected around noon, Your Grace." "He's arriving earlier than I thought," the Duke replied. "Lady Herhart asked that special attention be paid to the luncheon. If you've no prior engagements, she also requested your presence." "Of course," the Duke said. "I'll have the car ready. Enjoy your day, Your Grace." Later that day, Layla arrived at the guest house. She stood stiffly, hands clasped, her voice overly polite. "I apologize for the unexpected visit, Your Grace." The Duke studied her, a far cry from the girl who once stood here dripping wet, shaking water from her hat and skirt. "To what do I owe the pleasure?" he asked. "I'm sorry, but there's something I need to ask you." Before she could speak further, the phone rang. He gestured for her to wait and answered. Layla listened. "They're talking about a complicated contract." "Of course. He's still working. He's been here. The family business must be massive." She watched him, his relaxed composure, upright posture, the unwavering stillness of his eyes. Even when he smiled, there was a dignity to him, an effortless authority. It was no wonder people called him the perfect Duke. That someone so grand could be the one who took my glasses. It's ridiculous. I feel pathetic for even thinking it. I shouldn't have come. I should go back to the nests I haven't checked yet. "Goodbye, Your Grace," she said, stepping back. "Wait," he said, hanging up the phone. "Say what you came here to say." She took a breath. "The day I fell in the water, I left my glasses on the dock. I was wondering if you'd seen them." "Who knows," he said. "Maybe I saw them. Maybe I hid them." "Pardon? Did Your Grace hide my glasses?" He looked at her coolly. "What do you think? Is he mocking me again?" Layla wondered. She said carefully, "I don't think you would do such a thing." "And why is that?" "Because that would be a cruel thing to do, Your Grace."